Imagine an arrow, frozen mid-flight. It's not moving, right? But then, how does it ever reach its target? This is the paradox that stumped philosophers for centuries. But what if I told you that this ancient puzzle is just the tip of a cosmic iceberg? That lurking beneath the surface of our everyday reality are paradoxes so strange, so mind-bending, that they threaten to tear apart the very fabric of logic. Today, we're going on a journey to the edge of reason, to explore 7 paradoxes that don't just break our brains, they break the universe. And by the end, you'll never look at time, space, or yourself the same way again. Let's start with a story. In ancient Greece, a philosopher named Zeno proposed a simple challenge. To walk across a room, you must first reach the halfway point. But to get there, you must reach the quarter point, and before that, the eighth, and so on. You have to complete an infinite number of steps in a finite amount of time. The catch? It's impossible. So how do we move at all? This is Zeno's paradox of motion, and it has haunted mathematicians for over 2,000 years. Some say the solution lies in the nature of infinity, but others wonder if motion itself is an illusion. If Zeno is right, then everything we see, every step, every breath is just a static snapshot in a frozen eternity. But wait, there's more. Now, let's step into the realm of time travel. You've probably heard of the grandfather paradox. What if you go back in time and prevent your own birth? But there's an even trickier version, the bootstrapped paradox. Imagine you find an old watch in an antique shop. You take it back in time to give to a young inventor, who uses it to create the very first time machine. The watch is then lost, found, and eventually becomes the antique you bought. So who made the watch? It has no creator. It exists in a loop where cause and effect are tangled. This is a paradoxical object that has no origin, and it challenges our very notion of existence. In the world of quantum physics, such loops might be possible, but they twist our understanding of cause and effect into a pretzel. If a watch can exist without a maker, what else could? And then there's the Fermi Paradox. The universe is unimaginably vast, with billions of stars and planets. The odds are high that intelligent life exists somewhere out there. So where is everyone? This silent cosmos is a paradox of logic. If aliens exist, why haven't we seen them? Some scientists propose the idea of a great filter, a barrier that prevents civilizations from surviving. But what if the filter is behind us? What if we're the first? Or what if advanced civilizations simply don't want to talk to us? The silence is deafening, and it raises more questions than answers. Could it be that intelligence is a fatal evolutionary dead end? Now, let's shrink down to the quantum realm, where things get even weirder. Imagine a cat in a sealed box, with a radioactive atom. If the atom decays, a poison is released, killing the cat. But until we open the box, the atom exists in a state of both decayed and not decayed. So the cat is both alive and dead, simultaneously. This is Schrödinger's cat, a paradox that highlights the bizarre nature of quantum superposition. But here's the twist: what if the cat can observe itself? In some interpretations, the cat's own consciousness collapses the wave function, making it either alive or dead. But if the cat is the observer, then the paradox disappears. Or does it? Quantum mechanics is filled with such puzzles, and they challenge our very notion of reality. Now, let's consider a paradox that affects you every day, the paradox of choice. In a world of endless options, from cereal brands to life partners, we assume more choices lead to greater happiness. But psychologists have found the opposite. Too many choices can lead to anxiety, paralysis, and even regret. This is the paradox of choice. The more options we have, the less satisfied we are with any decision. It's a paradox that influences everything from marketing to personal relationships. But there's a deeper layer. If every choice creates a new universe, as some theories suggest, then your decisions multiply into infinite realities. So you're not just making one choice, you're creating a multiverse of possibilities. But does that make your choice more meaningful or less? Another paradox that hits close to home is the paradox of tolerance. In a tolerant society, should we tolerate intolerance? If we do, the intolerant will destroy tolerance itself. If we don't, we become intolerant ourselves. This is a social paradox that has torn nations apart. It was first articulated by philosopher Karl Popper, and it's a burning issue in today's world. But on a grander scale, this paradox applies to information. In a world of free speech, how do we handle ideas that threaten freedom itself? The answer isn't easy, and it's a paradox that we must navigate carefully. Now, hold on to your seats, because the next paradox is truly cosmic. The grandfather paradox, the bootstrap paradox, and the Fermi paradox are all mind-bending, but there's one that dwarfs them all, the simulation hypothesis. What if we're living in a computer simulation? This isn't just a sci-fi trope, it's a serious philosophical argument. If a civilization can create simulated universes, the number of simulated realities would vastly outnumber real ones. So the odds are overwhelmingly high that we're in a simulation. But here's the paradox: if we're in a simulation, then the physical laws we observe are just code. So our science is not discovering reality, but merely the rules of the simulation. That means everything we think we know might be a lie. But then, who is the simulator? And could we ever break out? But wait, there's a paradox that challenges even the simulation, the omnipotence paradox. Can an all-powerful being create a rock so heavy that it cannot lift it? If yes, then the being is not all-powerful. If no, then the being is not all-powerful. This ancient puzzle questions the very nature of omnipotence. And it applies to real-world problems, like the creation of software that can anticipate all possible errors. But on a cosmic scale, it raises a question: if there is a creator, why would it create a universe with paradoxes? Unless the paradoxes are the point. Maybe they're clues to a deeper reality. Now, let's bring it back down to earth. The paradoxes we've discussed, Zeno's, Schrödinger's, Fermi's, and the others, might seem like intellectual games. But they have real-world implications. They drive scientific discoveries and technological innovations. For example, the paradoxes of quantum mechanics led to the development of quantum computers, which promise to revolutionize everything. And the paradox of choice has changed how companies design products and how we make decisions. So paradoxes are not just abstract puzzles, they are engines of progress. But there's one final paradox I want to leave you with, a paradox that touches on the very essence of existence, the paradox of nothingness. If there is nothing, then there is no there to have nothing. Nothing cannot exist without something. So how did anything come to be? This is perhaps the ultimate paradox, and it lies at the heart of cosmology. Some physicists argue that the universe could have arisen from nothing, but that nothing is actually a quantum vacuum, teeming with potential. So the paradox is not about nothing, but about the nature of being. And it's a question that has no easy answer. As we journey through these paradoxes, we realize that our minds are not designed to grasp the infinite. We are finite beings trying to understand an infinite universe. But that doesn't stop us from trying. And it's this relentless curiosity that drives us forward. So the next time you're stuck in a paradox, don't despair. Embrace it. Because paradoxes are not dead ends, they are doorways to new dimensions of understanding. So, what do you think? Are you ready to question everything? Because the universe is full of paradoxes, and they're not just out there, they're right here, in your mind, shaping your thoughts and your reality. And that's the greatest paradox of all: we are the universe experiencing itself, and we are the ones who create the paradoxes that challenge our own existence. If you enjoyed this journey into the mind-bending world of paradoxes, make sure to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the mysteries of existence. And tell us in the comments, which paradox broke your brain the most? We'll see you in the next one. Until then, keep questioning.